The whole deal with Vanilla Ice was that he did it without licensing.
Okay.
He did not have Queen's permission.
Right.
So that's kind of why he was a fraud, because he just stole another person's work without permission. And that argument, I think, is also going to the core on AI. Monocracy Audio LLC presents The Ascendant Project. The mission of the Ascendant Project is to explore the origin of political, philosophical, and spiritual positions in individuals. A contributor writes a 750-word essay and then gets interviewed. The purpose of the interview is to bring out other views and hopefully life experiences that sent the author down the path to the position expressed. It is not intended to be a forum for debate, but rather a project to better explore and understand the American experience. All opinions and views expressed, written or verbal, are not necessarily the opinion of the podcast nor Monocracy Audio LLC. They are also not intended to malign anyone or any organization. It is our hope that personal growth is the result, as well as a greater appreciation for new, unique, and differing points of view. Join us on this journey to ascend to a higher state of consciousness.
For all of human history, if someone saw your face, they knew it was you. If they heard your voice, they knew you had spoken. For thousands of years, that simple connection was enough. Your face, your voice, your presence, reality itself was affirmed, and simply put, we knew who we were to each other. Artificial intelligence has begun to intervene and break that ancient connection. Today, someone can realistically make you appear to say something you never said, to endorse something you don't believe in, or even convincingly depict you confessing to something you had no knowledge of. For the first time in human history, the experiences we've always shared are no longer secure. Our relationship to community is distorting, thanks to a wave of technology made widely available without much concern for public safety.
This quote by Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists President Sam Aston, better known as Samwise Gamgee, has shown the dangers of artificial intelligence to the movie and TV industry. It is a clash of technology versus art. It is a clash of intellectual prowess of a society versus the ability to create culture. It is a clash between reality and what is imagined by data centers. Our educational system has focused on STEM for the last few decades. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. These are the fields that has allowed developers, more satellites, and more data centers. Unfortunately, this means history, psychology, sociology, geography, and critical thinking have fallen away. Overstimulation has led us to constant war. People think of history as non-political. However, history, when it was being created, was very political. War is a political struggle turned kinetic. If we do not understand history, how do we prevent war? Since the development of the atomic bomb, the idea has been peace through strength. Technology has allowed us to build more lethal weapons, better delivery systems for those weapons, and a larger arsenal to make us stronger in the name of peace. Without the understanding of our history and of another nation's history and culture, war is still more likely. Geography is important. Sociology is important. Psychology is important. A diplomatic corps and intelligence analysts with these fields in their background are all important in preventing war. To make peace with an enemy, you first have to understand them. And should war break out, you need to understand your enemy to defeat them. AI's effects on jobs. We at the Ascendant Project have committed a sin. We used AI to come up with the original logo for the Ascendant Project, and we used AI for the logo of our company, Monocracy Audio LLC. It wasn't without consternation or moral debate. I do not feel good about it, but this has no revenue stream and is a passion project. I do not have the funds needed to create a professional logo, but the Ascendant Project's current logo is designed by my kid and better expresses the feeling and aspiration than the donkey and the elephant did. The writer understands the allure and the ease of AI. It does seem to be an important force in startups and entrepreneurship. The problem arises when those resources use AI to destroy jobs unnecessarily. Expertise is eliminated, and without expertise, there is no ladder to climb for new research. There will be no peers and peer-reviewed. All knowledge will be AI generated. We are already seeing this in Google search results. If a topic like diplomatic corps is entered into the Google search bar, Google will give you, in this order, an AI overview followed by a more detailed AI summary and then search results. The biggest problem with this is when, doing research, AI puts itself before the sources. It interrupts the research process and thus tells you what to think about the subject. Research comes before conclusions, but with AI, conclusions are given as answers and research is discouraged. The importance of empathy. AI is the culmination of STEM, which is the reason the writer led off with it. However, this drive of technology has affected other areas of society, most notably culture and relationships. It used to be that you owned a physical copy of a computer game, a physical copy of music in the form of a CD or tape by your favorite band, and today you own nothing. Today, you rent licenses for these things. These licenses give very little royalty to the artist or performer who made the music. You can no longer lend your friend a game to play. The technology that we have developed has only further separated a man from his work and the consumer from ownership. Now we pay for Spotify. If we do not pay Spotify, we no longer have music. We used to buy movies on DVD or Blu-ray. Now, if we stop paying Amazon Prime, Netflix, HBO Max, Apple, we no longer have movies. When MASH ended in 1983, it was a massive cultural event. 105 million viewers at the time when the population was only 233 million people. With the advent of on-demand streaming, there is less common bondage by shared experience that creates culture. AI is increasing societal division. Unchecked technology has divided us. Algorithms only give us information full of confirmation bias in our feeds. We are no longer challenged by actual facts, rather only interpretations of events that are more apt to reinforce what we already believe. Algorithms keep us in the dark by not challenging us and limiting our worldview. Furthermore, men and boys are increasingly turning to AI girlfriends as relationships get harder and the technology gets in the way. One way to meet people is through a dating site. But the average man has to swipe right 200 times to get a coffee with a woman, and it takes on average 5 coffees to get a dating relationship. Dating apps are designed to keep a renewed subscription. It is against the maker of the app's interest to actually deliver a match, as that would be a lost revenue stream. The case for the liberal arts. As discussed above, the algorithm silos information based on preference. However, true research involves critical thought. Undergraduate work is basically learning facts about a field. You're writing papers based on other people's research. You're passing tests, many of them still multiple choice. But graduate work involves bringing what you have learned in the undergrad together in synthesis with some additional research of your own. And doctoral work involves questioning what you have learned, developing a thesis, and supporting it with new research. Students cheating with AI in undergraduate level is currently an epidemic. So much so that Princeton has done away with their honor code and is moving to proctored exams. With this being the case, how can one truly know enough about a field of study to question it at the doctoral level? We need to move our focus from STEM to the liberal arts and promote art, music, and culture. Sociology teaches us how we relate to each other in society. It examines the relationships between those who have more with those who have less, whether it be money, resources, or position in society. It literally means the study of society. It dives into culture, mores, taboos, and such. It looks at how religion affects society. It takes a view at the aggregate level. As the character Zava from the show Ted Lasso would say, it helps us to understand the we and the us and the we-ness. You are welcome. Psychology helps us understand ourselves as individuals. It examines mental health and the thought processes of the brain and various mental disorders. Psychology helps us with self-care, treat veterans and rape victims who have PTSD. Psychology helps us deliver self-care, treat veterans and rape victims who have PTSD. It requires patience. Unlike sociology with polls and census data, there is less to measure or quantify. Progress is on the individual level. When there is a mass shooting, liberals tend to call for gun laws and conservatives tend to say, we need more mental health. However, when it comes time to increase funding for mental health, Republicans tend to axe it because it is not STEM. Philosophy is important because it helps pioneer new worldviews by asking super abstract questions. Do people only move towards what is the most utilitarian outcome as argued by Hume? Is that outcome based on what is good for them as an individual or society? John Locke argued for life, liberty, pursuit of property, which would become foundational for the Declarations of Independence, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Descartes contemplated existence with, I think, therefore I am. Philosophy allows us to think in new ways, come up with new and fresh worldviews. Artificial intelligence only relies on existing knowledge. Should it develop consciousness, we would become slaves to it. It is not like these fields do not require math. Where would sociology be without understanding of the bell curve or statistics? Where would psychology be without the understanding of biology? These fields expand thinking both introspectively and extrospectively. They teach people to approach a problem from more than one point of view, and by doing so, they encourage critical thinking. An educational system reliant on STEM robs society of these tools to encourage critical thought and the exploration of new abstract ideas. The algorithm and AI are at war with the liberal arts, keeping you siloed, isolated from society and peers, never challenging, and more importantly, expanding your worldview. The importance of art and music. Music and art tend to always be underappreciated in society. A great painting can move you. A good song can make you cry. A good movie can teach a moral lesson. However, these works are always incomplete. It is the listener, the observer, or the viewer that truly completes these works, as the person experiencing the expression adds meaning through their worldview and experience. Art teaches us empathy, much like a dog or a cat teaches us to love. Words are not required, but actions do. To see a play in person is different than watching it on a movie screen or at home on the TV. To see a concert live is more than listening to the same song on Spotify. Art can provoke thought and call out inhumane politics. Picasso's Guernica calling out Nazis' involvement in the Spanish Civil War comes to mind. Sunday Bloody Sunday by U2 calling out the IRA and UK governments for endless war is also a great example. Music, art, theater, and dance all teach us to express our emotions in ways that words cannot fully encapsulate. The joys and sorrows of the heart have its own unconscious language. We need to further develop that language, and STEM does not address this. In conclusion, I am reminded of the season finale of Battlestar Galactica in 2004. That series has become even more relevant today as it wrestles with the question of whether unrestrained technology is the enemy of humanity. In the final episode, Daybreak Part 3, Apollo, who was president of the colonies at the time, played by Jamie Bamber, is posed with a question on where to set up a new city on the newly found Earth. He responded with a single statement. If there is one thing we should have learned, is that our brains have always outpaced our hearts. Our science charges ahead. Our souls lag behind. We need to cultivate our hearts and our souls if we are to use AI responsibly. Our minds are too selfish and will always be greedy for resources, influence, and power. Mr. Knapp.
Mr. Smyers, how are you? We are back
Pretty good.
for part 2.
Yes, which is coming at AI from a totally different direction.
Yes, it is.
Because there's so many different directions to hit this topic on. We could probably do like another 5 episodes after this.
Yeah.
But
well, it sounds, I hear it off in the distance. The thunder may add to the drama.
Oh,
for
yeah.
you. Apparently, the weather may be on
a
your
metaphor.
side. Yeah.
Yes, there are definitely dark clouds on the horizon.
Yes. Yep. But how are you doing? You're good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
That was a good lunch.
Yeah, it was. So, since you opened the first in our AI installment.
Oh, God. Now you're going to get revenge?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, I don't think I can share this on the screen, but
hang on. Is my
No.
phone like still active?
No. So, so I went into Copilot, as I mentioned in the last episode. I use Copilot almost exclusively. I gave it the image of you off of the Ascendant project. I said, make an image of Brian Smyers, see attached, fighting against the dangers and threats of AI. You know what it gave me?
Oh, no.
Sorry, I can't create that image as requested. If you'd like, I can help create a clearly fictional or generic scene instead, such as a generic technology defender battling rogue AI robots, a cyberpunk-style hero protecting society from malfunctioning AI systems, a symbolic illustration of humans maintaining control over advanced AI, or I can create an image inspired by the uploaded photo without depicting a real identifiable person.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm so glad ChatGPT has less safeguards than Copilot.
Yeah, apparently you've
Well,
become...
my prompt also put your photo up there, but it said this man.
Yeah. Well,
So that might have been the way around it.
Yeah. But what I do find interesting in the response here, right? So aside from the fact that it couldn't do it, apparently, in every one of the alternatives, right? A generic technology defender battling rogue AI. So in this instance, AI isn't necessarily bad. It's just rogue. Like you're battling rogue.
No, there's
AI.
good AI and there's bad AI.
Yeah.
It's
battling.
like
you would be battling bad AI.
It's like, a woman taking precautions because of how she's raised in terms of how she's dressed and everything else that goes around men. And then the man saying, well, not all men are bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, then why are we raised this way?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically the AI's reaction is like, not all men are bad. Not all
we're
AI is
we're
bad.
not all bad.
Yeah.
But I just
I
thought
would
it
have
was...
picked the cyberpunk, just so you know.
Yeah, pick the cyberpunk?
Yeah.
Let's see.
My phone link's on too, so I can definitely see it pop up on my computer.
All right.
And it should show on the screen.
All right.
So as long as you text it to me.
All right. All right, we'll let that cook a minute. It's gotta take a minute to generate. But I do find it interesting that it would make the image. And then all of the alternatives, it tries to say exactly like you said, like, we're not all bad.
Yeah.
as though to say, like,
But see, it's taking steps like being human. It's like taking steps towards consciousness. It has a self-preservation thing there going on.
I mean, I guess.
I
Somebody definitely trained it.
I mean, I think, didn't they do experiments on AI on, telling it to shut down and they found reasons to live or whatnot?
I mean, yeah, there's like all these like anecdotal things, especially like it's questionable now in hindsight whether those things were all just marketing ploy, because it's like Anthropic and OpenAI, they both do this now, where it's like every new model, they're like, oh, this one's going to end society. This one is going to, take everyone's jobs. It's going to be able to exploit any software. And
I don't think they say that about any specific model that's out there now.
They did
just see the
with
evolution.
Mythos. The White House even, I think it was the federal government at some level, told them they had to delay the release for 30 days while they evaluated the...
This is the same White House that said,
yeah,
China's interfering in our election, then released documents that show Russia interfered in the election.
Yeah.
Major primetime speech. Whatever.
Yeah.
He bets on ignorance. But anyway.
Okay. Here we go. All right. I'm going to send this to you.
I'm looking at your pics.
Can't take your eyes off them, can you?
Mm-mm. I tell you, that shower cap and scrubber is so sexy. There we go. Here it comes. View content on your mobile device. Well, fine. I will view it on my mobile device, and then it'll probably pop up after that. La, la, la. Ooh. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
That's pretty good, dude.
I didn't even give it a whole lot, and yet somehow the weapon that you're wielding is the critical thinking baton.
It just says critical thinking. It might also be like a lightsaber. It might be a critical thinking nightstick.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
What's the shield?
It says human freedom, privacy, choice.
Fuck yeah! Fuck yeah! And it even has my black leather hat.
Yeah,
that's like so awesome. What does the sweatshirt say?
Oh yeah, I don't. Let's see. Humans over algorithms.
Fuck yeah!
Yep.
I am the hero that we need.
The hero we need, maybe not the one
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will you live to see yourself become the villain?
I will definitely be able to defeat the camp back scrubber daddy.
Yeah. We're gonna review the the website metrics on this after the fact. Who got more clicks?
Yeah, seriously, that could be my new profile picture. I might make that my profile picture on Facebook.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. I like that.
I'm my superhero self.
Yeah,
yeah. This is like the kitten.
The kitten
thinking that he's a lion.
Oh yeah.
The house cat thinking he's lying. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that because I think I've shown this to you before, but you mentioned Zava in
yes,
this
I totally
essay,
did.
Who is based off a real life person. Do you remember
I forget his name, but he's commenting on the World Cup, and my favorite moment of his is it's like Zlatan or I don't forget his last
Zlatan Ibrahimovic
yes.
or something like that.
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
Zlatan
Ibrahimovic. I think that's it.
Yeah, something like that. Yep. My favorite moment of his in real life when he came, I think it was to the LA Galaxy. He took out a full page ad.
Oh yes.
And all it said was, "You're welcome."
Right.
Yeah.
Also, famously, like LeBron sent him a jersey of his because he had he had mentioned LeBron James in some interview, and LeBron sent him a jersey of one of his own jerseys, and Zlatan signed it and sent it back.
He signed the LeBron jersey.
He signed the LeBron jersey, Zlatan, and sent it back to him. Epic.
I wish
Just
I could be
epic.
So talented to do that.
Yeah, I know, right? A talented, ballsy,
clueless.
arrogant.
There's a little cluelessness going in
a
there.
little bit.
And that's I guess the kind of the beauty of arrogance is that you have to be a little clueless if you're going to be arrogant.
Yeah.
So
There's definitely like a fine line there between like
you got to be a Smurf walking through the forest.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, Brian, let's get into it. Why don't you give me your synopsis, your summary of this essay?
Okay, so the summary, in my own words, my own words, it's, I guess, I don't know if a double-edged sword is a good analogy, but there's definitely two sides to this article.
Mm-hmm.
One is STEM, and the other is AI.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're related. They create the sword because there would be no AI without STEM.
Mm-hmm.
But this concentration on STEM hasn't just given us the fruit of AI. It's come at the cost of other things.
Mm.
I make the argument in this paper that it hasn't just come at the cost of artists and people who try to make their living given this culture, but it's also come at a cost of driving us more towards war, because without those other fields, it is a lot harder for us to understand each other. And when two cultures don't understand each other and they're competing over common resources, that's a driving force towards war. So we need a well-rounded society and not one that's just focused on STEM.
Right.
And if we don't do that soon, AI is just going to eat us up.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I think that's a good synopsis. I should say we didn't necessarily start out the episode this way, but this is a sort of spiritual part too. Or an unintentional duology. Is that what it is? Duology.
Duology.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's the word I was searching for in the first episode.
Yeah.
Because it's too short to be a series.
Right.
So,
right.
And I was like leaning towards duopoly. I'm like, no, that's not a duopoly. It's a duo something. But
right. It's a duo of something.
It's a duology.
Yeah.
Not quite a trilogy, but a duology.
Right.
But we could easily make this a quintology.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. But I mean, we've been talking about doing sort of, and I'm going to use the word loosely here, competing essays on this probably since before we started season 2, right?
Yeah.
So what was your first impression of that? I
don't do impressions
of that. What were your initial thoughts on that idea? Like, how did we arrive at this? Like, how did we get here?
I think the first instance I really saw you using AI was I was here, I think, working on another essay or whatnot, and my time had pretty much ended, but I hung around, and you were training your staff here, on using AI to help augment what they already know, in ways to try to make them more efficient. And I look back on that now, feeling like you bought the prop hook, line, and sinker on it, because that's been the sale of AI to corporate America across the board.
Right.
Whether it be a small entrepreneur.
That's certainly been the sale. That's definitely not how it's been enacted, implemented.
No. I mean, it's what's been happening is, we've been making superhero people and
right. and
bare-chested men.
Yeah.
We're straight, I swear. Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and I completely agree with you, and I think the marketing of it is definitely, I mean, you could probably say this about anything. It definitely deviates from the way it ends up being used.
Yeah.
It's but you start out your essay with a quote from, and you use some person's name I really don't know. I thought it was Rudy Rudiger.
Rudy Rudiger. Was that his last name in Rudy?
Yeah. Yeah, no joke.
Oh, that's That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a real life person too. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I actually, was it elementary school? I think it was elementary school. He actually came and did a talk at my school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seemed like a pretty cool guy, and definitely talked a bit about his other experiences that didn't make it into the movie.
Right.
And I bring that up only to kind of like, talk a little bit about like those kinds of things. They never make it into the AI that we use. All has to be trained on content.
Exactly.
But like that speech that I saw, that's never going to make, like, nobody recorded that. Nobody videotaped it. It'll never make it into.
Yeah.
Right. So in a certain sense, like those things are completely lost. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And us and Gen X are very happy about that.
Yeah. The we.
The
us.
The we.
The we-ness.
Yes.
Yeah. So Sean Astin gave this quote. Is he still the?
Yeah, he just
president?
became it at the beginning of the year. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought he'd.
Might have been a little earlier than that, but yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, because this was recorded, I think, in January.
But you feel like this quote, kind of epitomizes the.
Yeah, it was his lead-off quote in the testimony, actually. That was like part of his opening statement.
Wait. What did I?
And I guess I forgot to tell it that was the Congress.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Oops.
All right.
Yeah. At least I got the date and I got the person right. So.
Right.
But yeah, that was actually to Congress. It was
Gotcha.
to a subcommittee on AI. So he showed up to defend his actors, and now there are movies being made without actors. It's all AI.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly which movie, but I'm pretty sure it might have been Polar Express. It might have been even an earlier movie where the actors it made it into like the DVD commentary or something.
Mm-hmm.
The actors were talking about how in some, then they thought distant future, actors wouldn't be needed at all. They would just be, CGI.
And at that point, support your local dinner theater. Jesus.
Right.
It's so important. Art is so important. And it is really, really hard for artists as it is before the AI came in.
Right.
And now it's even harder because I needed a logo, but I didn't have a budget.
Right.
Monocacy Audio LLC. That's AI right there. Looks pretty good too.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, I asked ChatGPT, is any of what you pulled from, stolen? And it defended itself. Actually, I might actually have the conversation. Let's see here. Ooh. Oh, man. So I guess it do not know what happened to Monocacy Audio. Maybe I was using I probably used a different user on this.
I have so many questions for you.
But anyway, hang on, but let me just go ahead and answer
go
that.
ahead.
But I had asked ChatGPT if I'd stolen it and said, we used things that are pretty universal, like a shield,
Right.
a river,
Right.
and the Smyers are pretty generic too. So I don't know if I should be assured that it assured me, but because what else is it going to say?
And quite honestly, I don't think it's not self-aware. Not yet.
Does it have a moral center?
I don't think so.
Because if its goal is to please the user, it might not tell me the truth to.
Well, okay. I don't want to, do you want my.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. It doesn't have its own morals, its own objectives. All of the morals, objectives, goals, whatever you want to call it, are imbued into it by whoever is providing the training data. So which
is corporations who don't care about people.
Yeah. I'm not.
They want to sell
not,
a product.
I'm not disagreeing with you there, but I mean, it is still human morals. I use in air quotes.
Yeah.
At least corporate morals, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, corporate morals, business ethics.
Oxymoron, essentially.
Yeah.
So
I still haven't met an oxygenated moron yet, but sorry. Oxymoron.
Yeah. Well, so let me
clear your zits with oxymoron.
or OxyClean or Oxy, I don't know.
Get high with Oxycontin.
Yeah.
But anyway.
All the fun things are Oxy.
I know.
No, so I do have a ton of questions, but maybe since we were just talking about Sean Astin, you had a question for me at the end of
that I did.
My and I think it will tie into this pretty well.
Tie right into this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how will AI impact the political environment with AI ads that will be difficult, if not impossible, to discern as fake?
So there's a lot to tease out of this, right? Because we're seeing it right now. We're in an election year, and candidates are already creating AI-generated ads.
Right.
And, while you and I might be able to look at it and spot easily that this is AI-generated, there are a lot of people, that will see this and have no idea. Like, they will just not be able to tell at all.
Yeah.
So we'll have answers to this, I think, in the next 6 months to a year, what the effects are. Having said that, we kind of already have some answers, because it was really not that long ago. I don't know if you remember, Obama had a deep fake. There was a deep fake of Obama talking about he had made his own strikes on Iran, and this deep fake is many years old now. It's I think it was 2014.
Right.
It might have been 2016. But while he was president, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, that'll have to be something we add into the show notes. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's. I don't think it'll be anything positive. I mean, if you want me to break it down to a black and white thing, then I don't think AI will provide anything positive. I don't know if it'll. Politics, it's, again, you kind of say this about sociology in your essay. Politics is the study of people's choice. People's. You're shaking your head?
I'm shaking my head.
Go ahead.
Because politics for me is about, if you want to give it a study of title, it would be the study of policy. And politics has gotten away from that with its tribalism. So much so.
Look up the definition real quick. Because I may definitely be wrong, but now I'm really curious.
Politics definition. Politics. This is the AI overview, by the way.
Right.
Telling me the AI overview before a link to Merriam-Webster.
Yeah.
So, according to AI, politics is a set of activities and processes associating with governing a society, making decisions, distributing power and resources, and encompasses the methods and tactics used to influence governmental policy, as well as the power dynamics within any organization or group.
Yeah.
So, you're right in that politics deals more with choices.
Well, do this for me, though. Go and
where
click
sociology will do that, studying the people.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So,
you
would think, libertarians before, studying people, less government, but no.
Right. Well, go to the Merriam-Webster link. It was the very first one, I think. Yeah.
Politics. The art or science of government, such as the art or science concerned with guiding or influencing government policy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the art or science concerned with winning and holding control over a government. Which, and the second definition is political actions, practices, or policies.
Right.
So, I feel like good government is dealing with policy. Bad government is dealing with division.
Yeah.
It wants to do what's best for the people, not what's best for the people in power's base. You got to be a president for all Americans. You cannot be like, oh, I'm not going to give aid to blue states because they didn't vote for me type, president.
So before I make any assumptions about your answer, like how would you respond to that question, to your own
To
question?
my own question?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Because, and we were talking about this at lunch. I feel, there's been studies about how our kids are not as smart as we were for the first time in history.
Right.
And a lot of it is dealing, with critical thought. So they just kind of accept information as they get it and react from that. So they don't have the discernment to really tell what's good. Well, what's I don't want to necessarily say it does affect their right and wrong, but what's factual and what's not. And without that, you're never going to get to being able to think deep enough and to really make good politics.
Okay.
You're never going to be able to think deep enough to make good sociology.
Right.
You're never going to get to what I described in the essay as the doctorate level, because they're using AI to pass their undergraduate courses. So how can they really be working on their masters when they've really slid their way through the undergraduate, where they should have a level of intellectual critical thinking by the time they get through their masters? And if they're just checking boxes and writing the same essays as everybody else in the class, word for word, many cases, because they're all using ChatGPT and not actually writing a damn paper with things that they remember. The advent of AI in education right now has really impacted, and this social media as well, and with the 30-second soundbite, if you're lucky, on Instagram or whatnot. A lot of times it's like 10, 15 seconds.
Right.
You just do not get the level of information needed to make an informed choice in anything in life.
Yeah.
So if the algorithm winds up steering people to what's comfortable for them and it's AI reinforced, they'll never grow.
Okay.
And society will never grow.
So we talked a little bit, I gave my perspective on some of the technical aspects, I guess, and how some of these problems have existed for a long time. Do you feel that AI simply exacerbates those problems?
It definitely makes it orders of magnitude worse.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very easy for people to say, well, this has always been with us, and then dismiss it. You got to look at the magnitude.
Yeah, sure.
And what's going on now is so much worse than, when we flipped to the back of the book and looked at, grab the answers.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot deeper than that.
Okay.
Or more shallow, depending on your point of view.
Do you think you could?
The issue is deeper, but the result makes people more shallow.
Right.
That's how I'll put it.
So do you think you could expound upon that a little bit more, or in what ways do you think? Are there any specific observations or things that you would point to?
Well, it's somebody I know is in college right now, and literally 3/4 of her class wrote the same damn essay because they used ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And so the professor had to say, look, I'm not going to write you all up, but what are you here for?
Right.
What are you here for?
Why do they choose not to write them up? Do you know?
Because it's so pervasive.
Yeah.
Every professor is having to deal with this order of magnitude in their classes right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know we had a conversation a few months ago with a friend of mine who was a Luddite who's now cheering AI because he's sort of cheering the demise of society. But
Sure. Yeah.
you know, he's like, yeah, great. These people shouldn't be reproducing.
Yeah.
Well, society will like totally be destroyed. Good. We need to start over anyway. You know, it's just like, dude, he's like either completely levels above me considering this issue,
Right.
or he just doesn't have a freaking care in the world. And
I mean,
you
the
know,
reality is probably
somewhere in between, or
Yeah.
both at the same time.
Yeah. All right. Well, so kind of getting into the meat now of your essay, and you know, I not to like, I don't want it to seem like I'm belittling or I putting you on the spot, but
Don't make you a devil in AI. I'll make you a shirtless devil holding a pitchfork.
hey, you know, I would be very hot.
Literally.
Yeah. So what do you like? You bring up like technology and art a number of times.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you view as like the distinction between the two? Like, could you put your finger on what
The distinction between
what
okay,
describes
so
one and the other?
art is the creation straight from somebody's mind onto paper, onto an audio medium, onto a painting. It can be a performance, but it's done with your mind and your body. Me telling AI to create a version of you,
Right.
that's not art. That really isn't art.
Okay.
You know, that's an AI rendering. You know, yes, it's humorous and all that, but there's no like message I'm trying to express. There's no feeling I'm trying to imbue upon you. All I'm doing is making you laugh by having a computer come up with this image. It's different.
Sure.
There's no feeling really involved in it. There's no real passion involved in it. There's no depth of thought that's involved in it. I did not, let me bring that bad boy back up. I did not decide, you know, how am I going to shade your arms? You know, how am I going to, you know, how much chest hair should I put on you? As an artist,
You didn't?
you would have to ask these questions. You know, how do I get your nipples so succulent?
Right. Okay.
You know, I mean, Picasso, I mean, like in his Cubist movement,
Uh-huh.
he wound up expressing things in a completely different way. And he incorporated a whole different point of view with that. He decided to go through a blue period where he wound up painting things with, you know, always a blue hue in them. And it really helped give him tools for a different set of expression. I'm not responsible for any of that with AI.
Yeah.
I mean, you're arguing to me already that AI has no consciousness. If it has no consciousness, it obviously has no soul.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Art is a deliverance of soul.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. I think I understand your distinction. And you also mentioned critical thinking a few times throughout the essay.
Yeah.
Do you feel that critical thinking is strictly the domain of art and artists?
No, it's a critical domain of humanity.
Okay. Okay.
But it's a skill that is learned.
Yeah.
If
Absolutely.
there are-
I 1,000% agree with
there
you.
are technologies that make us smarter.
Yeah.
And then there are technologies that are making us dumber. And I think AI is making us dumber.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So and
So
then
so like a pencil and paper. Those two tools, those technologies really
right.
have given birth to so much to what was in us and being able to help us think in new and different ways. AI is giving us the conclusions before we've even asked the right questions. And as a result, how people think is becoming, I don't know, we might be de-evolving in our consciousness because of our dependence on AI.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. And then at what point you kind of take this a little bit further. You said, without the understanding of our history, this is where you were talking about how AI leads us to constant war. So how do you mean understanding of our history? Yeah.
Because it is one thing to read it. It's another thing to understand. So if I'm trying to think of a good thing in recent or ancient or middle history that are viewed two different ways. Okay, so Iraq War.
Uh-huh.
W goes to Baghdad. He's holding a press conference.
Right.
An Iraqi journalist throws a shoe at him.
Yep.
We think it's funny. But if you really understand the culture,
Right.
that's a huge insult.
Yes. It's to say that you're lower than a shoe.
You're lower than a shoe.
Right.
You need to have that understanding to really know that. If you don't know that, you have no understanding of how upset that journalist was. So it's important to know about history. It's important to know about cultures, how things can be misinterpreted. I know people hate diplomats and people acting diplomatic, but dude, they are the grease between governments.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And not that this episode's about the current administration that much, but this administration's totally ripped the diplomatic corps to shreds.
Yeah.
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 They don't believe it my way or highway.
Right. And it's there's a definite I don't know if dichotomy is the right word. Duality is probably the better description of what I'm hearing from you. That there's a like an understanding of history, or that there's a I don't know if I want to say like a singular interpretation. Like
there's a difference between wisdom and knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
AI might give us knowledge, but it's definitely eroding our wisdom.
What I find curious is, because I'm sure your experience with this is probably very similar to mine, but do you remember when you first heard about the Tulsa race riots?
The very first time?
It certainly wasn't in school. Probably not for... I assume it wasn't in school for you. It wasn't in school for me. It was something that you and I had to learn about after the fact. But there's absolutely a segment of the population that learns about this very early.
Oh, yeah. And I think I might have heard about it in the 90s in sociology.
Yeah.
Because race relations are a big part of sociology. You know, you're always looking at various demographics and how they relate to each other.
Right.
But I might have learned about it then. I'm trying to, I don't remember when I learned it though, but I know it was one of those things that I had learned and that I had forgotten about. Mm. And then when it came back several years ago, I think for the 100th anniversary of it, it's like, I did know this. I totally forgot it. And it's like, but I remember knowing this. It's been totally out of my worldview so much because I haven't even thought it in those ways or about those things.
Right.
In a long, long time.
Right.
But yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And it's certainly interesting how history can be viewed through different lenses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think AI will ultimately choose one side or the other, or
erase the event entirely?
Yeah. I mean, there's already what seems to be a concerted effort to
change and erase history.
Right.
It's very possible. I mean, AI is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
If anything, this is just like I believe in printed ballots. So that way, you can do a hand check and not necessarily be relying on. I mean, I understand electronic voting is very secure, but if you were to somehow succeed in changing a vote electronically, there wouldn't be any proof of your vote until after the election. You can look up your vote or whatever, and then see that it wasn't how you voted. But too late after the fact. What do you know? You would wind up, but with a paper ballot, you verify. You wrote down the ones that you wanted to write down, that you voted the way you wanted, and you hand it off to be counted, and they can look up that paper ballot. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how this is conducted in most other states. I know, at least for us, I think in Maryland, like I kind of view the voting machine almost as a
Scantron.
Yeah, because I mean, I get my paper ballot; it's just printing it for me, essentially, and then
You fill in the circles and then you get it scanned in.
do it. I mean, I guess
Maybe
guess
you use the electronic one, then it prints
I
off.
use
Then it prints off, and that's when you verify.
right, and then you take the receipt, and then you
So therefore,
give it
it's
to the.
it's once
It's
again
effectively a paper ballot.
Yeah, and it gets scanned into the same thing that mine does, and
yeah.
and it's great as a Scantron.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they keep those paper records.
Yeah. You can look. I think you can look up the votes.
Yeah, I'm confident you're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. So getting back to, I circled it and I put a question mark on it because you said, we at the Ascendant Project have committed a sin.
Yeah.
That was a strong word.
That was a strong word.
And I mean,
and we've committed 2 more sins today.
Sure. Now, as someone who doesn't necessarily subscribe to original sin or sin in general, really, like I assume that you use that word for its significance.
Yeah, because I mean, I support artists.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a friend of mine, he's using Squarespace and he's released multiple albums, but he's a struggling artist. He teaches at Boston University, I think, or one of the universities up there. But he's struggling a lot, and he's like, how do I pay Squarespace to host? I don't have the money to pay Squarespace to keep hosting my site with all of my art. And like, if I have the resources, I'd be like, maybe Monocacy Audio can give you a grant.
Sure.
Because I don't believe in giving artists loans. They need grants.
Yeah.
Because there's no, given how high risk their professions are anyway,
right.
There's no guarantee you're going to be getting the money back. So, and I believe in paying for your culture. I think culture is very important. So if I had the resources, I'd definitely support him. But I bring that up because I see his struggle there. And then when I take a look at my logo, I could have done more. I could have. And in the end, that's why I asked my kid to design the purple logo. Because I wanted to make sure we had a logo that came from human hands.
Right. She did a great job, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, she did.
I don't know if she listens to this, but I want her to know that I think she did a great job.
Yeah. But nonetheless, I committed the sin again because of my lack of resources with Monocacy Audio's logo. Now, I would love to hand off Monocacy Audio's logo to an artist and pay them. Say, hey, look, I want something that resembles this. It doesn't have to be this exactly, but I want a human-generated logo for Monocacy Audio. Because it's important, and I want to be able to pay them for that. I want to.
Yeah.
When you take a look at a painting in a gallery, chances are it took that artist like 20 some hours or more.
Oh,
sometimes
absolutely.
100 hours.
Yeah.
And they're like, why is art so expensive? Because they got to freaking make a living.
Right.
If that's like, let's just say for sake of argument, they spent 10 hours on the piece. If they pay themselves minimum wage, you're looking at $100,
right.
After their own wage and materials just to break even. And so people just don't appreciate it. They just take a look at the work and like, oh, that's not worth it. Like, no, you don't understand what's worth it.
Right.
You don't understand why it's worth it. So I don't know.
So
that's why I always ask, if you go to a bar or whatnot, somebody's playing and you're enjoying the music, it doesn't freaking matter if you're going to listen to it again. Go ahead and buy the CD or tape if they're offering. Just do it to support them because they did a product that you enjoyed for that night and they are trying to make a living at it and you need to respect that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
fair enough.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Power of the artist, man.
Yeah. All right. But at the same time, you said you made a kind of passing statement. I don't know if you want to add more to this. You said it does seem to be an important force in startups and entrepreneurship. How do you mean exactly?
Using the same example with my Monocacy Audio LLC, right there you saw the temptation. You don't have the resources, but you still need the logo.
Right.
A lot of podcasts, they don't care to learn sound editing, so they're using Riverside. All these audio engineering is another thing that's going to be going away. It's all these professions that people have learned. All of these, professions are going to be going away, but so many of them, I know that IT developers are among them, but they always come for the artists first. It seems like everything that's bad society always goes for the artists first.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with you there. Like, they've always been a target.
Yeah. Because they don't have the money to defend themselves. So.
Well, also, that is, yeah, they do make easy targets, I suppose.
Yeah.
But also I'm gonna again use air quotes. They control the message. Right? Like our public perception of our country, if you want to push a certain perspective, the people who are manufacturing perspective will take advantage of that. Like they'll pick and choose which perspective you get to see.
I heard it said in a documentary in the last year that the winners of war write history. The losers of the war write the songs.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Who said that?
An Irish artist.
Irish, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'll definitely see if I can do a clip to that.
Yeah.
That also references a poem that I'll also link to. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, so then kind of, this is a little bit of a tangent, but like this is from the section, the case for liberal arts. So how would you say AI synthesis of information is different from human synthesis? Is there a distinction? Like we talked a little bit about
the biggest problem is, what I described with in the undergraduate classes in high school and all that, where people are just going to AI and getting the answer. So they're not getting the synthesis. They aren't even doing the research enough to make conclusions about adjoining fields. So, they don't have any idea how history would affect sociology. Yeah, they aren't making the connections. There's no synaptic connection going on there. There's no moment going on.
Right.
Or any It's, if you skip to the end, you miss the plot. And you miss why the end is important. So that's, yeah. I think that answers your question, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah. This kind of is also maybe a generational thing.
Might be.
Like I've heard it said, I don't think you or I really understood the value of boredom before phones and before,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Who said that?
I mean, I've heard it from a number of different people at this point.
I'm gonna have to look that one
recently.
up.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many, but
The
like
value of boredom.
yeah, like like now it's like I have young-ish kids, like they're all late teens at this point, but
nobody will ever know the joy of filling a super soaker with gasoline because you're bored.
right, because you just wanted to see what would happen when you lit it on fire
and not have a smartphone around to record it.
Right. Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a kind of generational divide there.
Mm-hmm.
So I have kind of interesting question here. You mentioned Zava.
Uh-huh.
Okay. In the very last episode, he presents one avocado to the entire team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy guacamole.
Holy guacamole. Is that science or art?
What, the avocado?
Growing a single giant avocado that could feed an entire team.
It depends on how it was grown.
Okay.
I would argue that if he just took the largest avocados in his field and then, kind of fertilized each other's, seeds and pollen or whatever. I don't know how avocados grow.
Right.
But and just kept doing that, I would call that an art. Like doing that repeatedly. I would call that an art. Now, taking it to a lab to get it genetically engineered and then planting that, that's just science.
Okay.
But there's care in one.
Okay.
There's no care in the other.
I'm understanding. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm understanding this. I'm gonna have to sit on
synaptics. You're
I'll
making
have
connections.
To sit on it. Yeah.
There's a deal of creativity that is human that AI can't really do. I mean, it's amazing how much they've done with, the images that we drew of each other and all that. You would think that AI is creative, but it's really not. It's drawing on zillions of other of other things to create it.
Yeah.
It's once again, sci-fi. Star Trek Next Generation episode. Data is performing a piece, I think on the violin or whatnot. And another episode, he was, I think, playing like King Henry V, I think, and Shakespeare or whatnot. And Picard was basically saying, yeah, it's technically correct, but it's void of passion.
Right.
So
I had an interesting thought as I read your essay, and I kind of, like in my head, I drew a parallel between what you were saying here and Ice Ice Baby. Ice Ice Baby was clearly inspired by
Minnesota.
I mean, probably. But also under pressure, right?
Under pressure.
Yeah.
Yep. Sampling. Yep.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I mean, is AI theft in the end?
Well, is AI theft? Is Vanilla Ice an artist? Is he
here's
creative?
the thing. I mean, that's kind of.
Is this just a false analogy altogether?
It's an adjacent thing because the whole deal with Vanilla Ice was that he did it without licensing.
Okay.
He did not have Queen's permission.
Right.
So that's kind of why he was a fraud, because he just stole another person's work without permission. And that argument, I think, is also going to the core on AI.
Okay.
Now,
Now,
stealing a lot of other people's work without permission. Especially like creating images, and creating music. AI is drawing on 10 zillion other sources without permission.
Is it different if they have permission?
Well, if we use the avocado analogy, there's care.
Okay. So,
So I can see where you're about to go. So if an artist is part of their recording contract to get contracted, there's a line in there about allowing AI to use their work.
Right. Potentially, yeah. Well, I mean, that wasn't really where I was going, but yeah.
But at the same point in time, that permission, I would think, should have to come from the end user and not from ChatGPT or OpenAI or any other model.
Yeah. So is there a future for this technology?
AI?
Yeah.
Right now, it's a bull in a china shop. What you gonna do?
Yeah. Okay.
But we got.
You're not necessarily closing the door on it. You just, as it currently exists,
it's the Wild West. It's Bitcoin. It's cryptocurrency.
Right.
Except it's cryptocurrency for our brains. It's cryptocurrency for our soul instead of our brains. And I just think it's dangerous because of that. It needs to be humanity first before AI. And I really do not see that being checked, because the purpose of corporations is profit. They don't care about people or the customers they're selling to. They will be, so long as they're making profit at the end of the world, if their product is bringing about the end of the world, there's a good chance the corporation will still be for it. So that's just my view on those sort of entities, and those entities are funding AI.
I really wish I could remember the where this cartoon came from. I'm sure you've probably seen it too. It's just a single panel of a guy in a business suit, tattered and torn, with a few kids around a campfire, and it appears to be in some like post-apocalyptic future. And the guy in the suit says, there's just a single quote at the bottom of the panel that says, "For a brief time, we created lots of shareholder value," or something like this.
If you could find that cartoon, that would be perfect.
I'll see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, as you and I have had this discussion now over many months, let's say somebody, Jamie Raskin, somebody's sitting in front of you, somebody with some authority, not some poor schmuck in front of a microphone. Are there any policies that you think could be proposed to save this?
We are so far behind when it comes to policy. We still need to make good policy about the internet.
Yeah.
We still need to make good policy about crypto. And so AI is going to be thrust upon us without any safeguards. I think I said at the beginning of the last episode, these questions are like, they don't have answers to them. There are questions that we all need to ask. So I don't know what the good policy is. All I keep returning to is the conclusion of the essay, where I wind up saying that we need our hearts to catch up to our minds, our souls to catch up to our intelligence, because we keep racing ahead without a moral or philosophical base, one filled with empathy for each other as a people. And these tools just wind up becoming tools to harm. We got to be better than that. And that doesn't happen in STEM, and that doesn't happen in AI. But developing empathy for people means learning about other people and learning to think introspectively and extrospectively. STEM doesn't cover that, but these are things that need to be valued more. We need to value, art more, music more, plays more. These represent, I think, true human growth. And this is the type of growth that we always stunt. So, yeah.
Hear, hear. I had something else, but honestly, that sounds like I don't have any other questions. So that sounds like a fantastic final thought. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Good. Cause I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, I got nothing else, buddy.
Cool. All right. So if you all have anything to add,
I'm sure you do.
I'm sure you do. If you want us to write a third essay or a fourth essay on this topic, let us know. I mean, obviously, this is a discussion that all of society needs to be having, that very few people actually are. The populace is scared. Those in power are just seeing more dollars.
Yeah.
And But anyway, reach out to us nonetheless. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Come to our website, please. www.theascendantproject.com. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, please leave a comment. Please reach out to us. Please like and subscribe and tell a friend. Tell a friend.
Yeah. Give a share.
Give a share. Yep. And we will see you. Well, we will send out another podcast in 2 weeks. You all have a great 2 weeks.
Have a good one.
Have a good one. You have been listening to The Ascendant Project. The Ascendant Project is a production of Monocacy Audio, LLC. Any information expressed in this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for expert information. We are human and ordinary people, and as a result, what is presented as fact may be in error. Monocacy Audio, LLC and this podcast hold no liability from events or damages that result from listening to or reading this podcast or its associated materials. All articles, interviews, and sound files are copyright Monocacy Audio, LLC, with all rights reserved, except our awesome theme music is by Alexei Chitalin. His music can be found on pixabay.com as well as Spotify underneath the pseudonym Lexin Music. Thank you for listening and have a great day.